Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So we are revisiting an old case because I'm curious about what else happened. Also, I want to know the charges that he got because I think at the time, they didn't say. But I do know that he was charged badly. But so we're going to be watching Jesse Weber and Chris Hansen talk about Donovan Shepard, I believe Shepard, the man who was HIV positive and charged with raping his stepdaughter. Horrifying case, very sick just some sick people out here who would do this. And I don't even know if the girl caught anything, so I'm curious if they're going to say anything about that. So let's get into it.
It is one of the most horrific cases we have ever covered here on Sidebar. An Oklahoma youth baseball coach caught sexually assaulting a child. And now the victim and her family, they're getting some justice, and a child rapist may be locked away forever. Renowned predator catcher Chris Hansen joins me to help analyze this truly disturbing case. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. So we first told you about this case here on Sidebar back in January, and that is when Donovan Shepard was arrested for raping the daughter of the woman that he had been living with. Let's process that for a second. Well, now he has pled guilty to these heinous crimes. And Shepard, if you recall, was a coach for the youth baseball team Oklahoma Aftermath. He was apparently out at a bar.
Okay, and also, I don't even know if he was a stepdad, but he was her partner. Dating, whatever. No matter what, it's disgusting. The pervs always work with kids. Isn't that crazy? And it's crazy to say maybe going to life in prison. Why wouldn't he? I feel like they treat HIV, especially if you commit a crime with that, as that's a big thing. Like, they should treat it as a big crime. I'm like, that's putting, like, lowering somebody else's life. That's not curable. Yes, he should be going to life in prison for this. That's just what I think. Because he knew he had it. Obviously, he knew he had it. And he purposely attacked that girl more than once, mind you. Also, rape cases need to be long-term anyway. But just adding on the HIV, just, oh my God. Like, I want to know if she caught it or anything. And then the wife or the girlfriend.
He allegedly got into a fight. And police say a woman that he was living with came to pick him up and took him to Oklahoma City. But while she went to bed, he apparently didn't. No, she went looking for him, and what does she find? She finds him raping her 12-year-old daughter. She actually held him at gunpoint until the police got there. And if that wasn't bad enough, when Shepard was arrested, police say both Shepard and this woman told them Shepard was HIV positive. Now, the victim told police this wasn't even the first time he sexually abused her, that Shepard had attacked her 6 different times, even on her 12th birthday. So Shepard, he was arrested, charged, long list of crimes: rape, lewd molestation, exposing others to AIDS. Shepard was supposed to have a preliminary hearing in this case where the prosecution would present their evidence to see if there's enough to be bound over for trial. It was supposed to happen last week, but instead, according to the court records, Shepard entered a guilty plea to a total of 8 counts. And according to the court website, it appears he was sentenced to life in prison plus an additional 62 years, but also with the possibility of parole after he does 35 years. We believe he's 40 years old right now. And he also has to pay court costs and put money into the victim's compensation fund.
And he's also going to be on the sex offender list for the rest of his life, which I think is definitely necessary. You know, normally I'll be like, why do they get without parole? With parole, I don't understand that. But you know what? Anyways, he'll be 70-something. Most likely, you know what? He'll be 70-something if he... I don't know. I stopped myself because I didn't know if that's like bad to say. You know, he has HIV that can turn to something else, AIDS, and then it's worse in prison. I wonder. Now, this is actually me being curious. I'm curious about if they like separate people with HIV in prison. Probably not, because I've heard about this woman on TikTok. Before it bans, you know, it's supposed to be banning soon, which doesn't hurt me. I don't care. But anyways, she was talking. She was a nurse, and she's a nurse in prison, and she was saying how a lot of them inmates got HIV, and they bring it home to their girlfriends and wives and partners. And she was like, if they've been there more than 10 years, you know, be careful, go get tested. Oh my God, I guess they don't. But yeah, he'll be 70 some if he make it. I'm just saying also because the prison lifestyle. He's also a child rapist. Yeah, yep. He probably pleaded guilty because he didn't want a trial. Like he didn't want people to hear about it. People already know, sir. You're disgusting.
Right now, renowned journalist, predator catcher Chris Hansen, host of Takedown on TrueBlue.com and also the podcast of Predators I've Caught.
And let me tell y'all something. What I just learned yesterday. I was walking, and I was walking my dog and playing the Stephanie Sue's podcast. One of her most recent ones. I love Stephanie Sue. I listen to them every day, literally with anything. I love her podcast. This is where I get a lot of my stories that I like. I be like, I heard it before because it's been so gruesome. Sorry about the hand, all the hand movement. But he has Chris Hansen on here, and she was talking about it was a whole To Catch a Predator thing. It was the beginning of it. But she was talking about how the show ended, and I never knew that because I was like, I used to see clips, but didn't know that it ended because one of the people that they ambushed, it was just a whole lot. And, I like Chris Hansen, but the way that happened, the dude like offed himself in on camera, and they had to cut it, but that's why it went off air. I was just like, oh my god, and that was the dude was a predator anyway, but it was just like he was found not guilty, and they bomb rushed him in his home. Oh, it was horrible. I think there was a police dig out. It was just, I was like, oh my god, Chris Hansen. I was like, that show To Catch a Predator. A lot of stuff going on with that show. But anyways, I just wanted to say that because I saw him. I was like itching to say it.
Chris, so good to see you again. You and I actually talked about this case back in January.
We sure did, and talk about heinous. I mean, this is the very definition of a predator, Jesse. And as you know, Oklahoma is one of the states that has a law where knowingly exposing another human to HIV is an additional crime here. So that's one of the 8 counts to which he pleaded guilty. But who does this? A monster does this. And, I remember a few years back having a conversation with Polk County, Florida Sheriff Grady Judd. And he runs the sheriff's office there, and that's one of the agencies with which we do our sting operations around the country.
By the way, for people who don't know, he's awesome. Like,
yeah, he's the best.
Character.
He's the best. I've known him for 40 years since he was a lieutenant, and I worked down in Florida. And his position is, in these extreme cases, these guys should be opposed to potentially given the death penalty.
Yeah.
And when he first said it, and I love Grady, and I've known Grady, as I mentioned, for many, many years, and he's a big thinker. And I was a little surprised to hear him say that the death penalty for a predator. But, I'm starting to think in a case like this, I'm not opposed to that. I mean, you got a guy here who, repeatedly molested this poor child.
Molested and raped.
In the most, graphic and violent way, and exposes the child to HIV. And then to find out that the mother knew something about this in the past and apparently didn't report it until she caught him on this occasion and held him at gunpoint. There's a special place for a criminal like this. And I don't think the death penalty would be going too far, quite honestly.
And didn't even know that she knew that was going on before catching him, or like that he molested her. Look, a lot of parents, but women, I'm talking about like the women part of it, the mothers, they need to start acting up on their gut feeling. You might have a feeling that something happened, but I think a lot of people don't want to even accusing somebody. They be thinking it's like the whole relationship will be done. They be like, oh, you think I'm capable of this? Yes, anybody is capable of anything, okay? But if you have a gut feeling that something might be happening, talk to the child. Talk to your child. You will be surprised by what your child tells you. They might just tell you the truth, okay? But people don't like to talk to their children, and people like to keep it to themselves until like they really find something in this horrifying or the child tells them. But especially, and look, and this is another big thing about this. This is not his child, nor should it be. I'm just saying. I don't know what their relationship, they was just dating. So if you have a gut feeling about somebody that you're dating or somebody that you think may be acting inappropriately with your daughter, you need to act upon that and check up on it. Just because he worked with kids doesn't mean anything. Them really be red flags sometimes, but not all the times. But it's like you really need to be careful. And it's the scary, I guess it's scary, but the hard part about it all is really you don't know. You just really never know until you find something or until somebody tell you, or you just got that gut feeling like people just, you figure it out yourself. Kids won't tell you anything, but talking to them normally, parents need to start having normal conversations with their kids about this stuff, and your child will open up to you. It's like, that's just what I believe. I have experience with that, so it's just like that's what I believe. Okay, that's just what I believe.
The death penalty we have in place for if you're going to take a life, then there should be a life in exchange, right? It's the ultimate punishment. And I would say to you, we talk about these kinds of cases all the time, the effect that sexual abuse has on these people's lives. But when you expose somebody as well to a potentially fatal disease, that's a real problem as well. And that's why, I'm not going to give my 2 cents on whether or not the death penalty should be warranted there, but I'll tell you, I understand why he says it, particularly in a case as egregious as this.
That's my point.
Yeah.
We are very careful in society, about the death penalty, as we should be, because you don't want to make any mistakes there, obviously. But for a guy like this, you have to wonder about that. We just finished an investigation a week or so ago, and the episode will be on this week on WatchTrueBlue.com on our streaming crime network. And we caught a man who was a police officer for 20 years, both in Michigan and in Florida. His current job is working in security at a school for the deaf in Michigan. And here he is trying to meet a teenage girl after a very graphic conversation.
They
We
still
watch
do
him
that
walk
show?
in. He locks both locks on the door, and he scoots right in on the decoy, posing as a child. And I walk on and confront him, and he admits
Okay, I didn't know if they still do that show. The show. I thought it ended, but you know what? Do them. Okay, the pervs do be out. So
the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's offensive. That guy should go to prison. You have to wonder about what he's done in his past as a law enforcement officer. But in this case in Oklahoma, you have to wonder what this guy has done in his past. And obviously they've looked into that. And you wonder, did that have anything to do with him, taking this plea pretty much on the nose and not going to trial?
Well, yeah, I think.
you also they need to look at the kids, the people he's a coach. Talk to the kids. This is when you find out somebody is like a serial rapist. Well, not is a serial because it's like 3 people, but really, he did it 6 times to that girl. I would say so. This is when they need to start talking to kids. He's been there. He's a whole coach for kids. So yeah, I would be like, they need to talk to him. You see a lot of that stuff in like coaches too, especially younger kids. And that is the gross part. These people who do this, they work with kids, and them the ones they really need to be talking to. Okay, y'all. Also, there's talk in the comments of this video I was curious about. I was saying this, and I didn't even think about it when I was talking about the mom knowing, because they did say she knew. There was an incident when she knew, but it's like she didn't report it. I was over here thinking, I'm like, okay, sometimes they don't be knowing everything, baby, trying to let stuff slide. This shut me right up. Hold on. This man has HIV. That's a capital crime in a lot of states. Or it should be, but I know it is in some states. It's like, if you knew this was happening, or even have an inkling, I didn't even think about this, y'all. I'm like, yes, everything I said, even if you knew or you think you knew, you got a gut feeling, go with that gut. Because this man has something that could possibly kill your daughter. That's crazy. I don't know why I didn't think about this. That's disgusting. Should she be charged? Charged with something. A lot of people in the comments believe that she should be charged and go to jail too, because that is disgusting. That is a crime. It's like, this is, and I still wouldn't know if the daughter got it. That's insane. But yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was like, yeah, but should she be charged? I would say yes.
Do you see this often? Someone who's living with someone else, and whether the abuse happens to a stepchild or the child of a boyfriend, girlfriend, they insert themselves into that kind of situation. Do you see this happening a lot?
Yeah, it's a common predator tactic. The reality is alarming as the predators we catch are. those cases, the vast majority of child assaults, sexual assaults, and molestations take place with somebody they know, a family friend, a relative, a stepfather. And so, those make up the vast majority of these cases across the country.
Does the fact
And we're just talking. I'm not watching this whole video, but just to give you guys, I always give you guys more insight than me. It's all about being open, especially when talking about crime, because I want you guys to know that I'm not like I have experience in a lot of like stuff I talk about, especially like dealing as when I was a child. I will just say that like with my stepfather, I had like experiences like that, not with HIV, but I'm just talking about like with the child molestation thing, and I don't have a hard time saying that because it's been a while. I'm 26 years old right now. It was a long time ago. I have learned to move on. I actually believe the dude died, so I can care less about the man. I'm okay with talking about this, but it's just so heartbreaking. Kids go through a lot. They hold on to a lot, and they don't say anything. And then when it gets out, it's like everything gets out. But you have these people, these men who gets into relationships. They're predators, and then you figure out when it happens, it's like your child, and then you start investigating yourself, and you break up with them, and you find out that they have done that to their own child. It's horrific. You'd be like, how can somebody like this really live among us? And yeah, it happens. But yeah, that man, my stepdad, actually, let me not even say stepdad, this dude who lived with us, was married to my mom. I do believe he passed away. I don't care. He literally died. I do not care whatsoever. The dude was a predator. And it's crazy if we did not even know him. I stayed with him was it about like 10 years? Like, that's a long time. That's a long time. I do believe it was like 10. It was definitely over 8. It was a long time. And it's just crazy. These people, and like I said, stuff happens, and I moved on. I'm okay, but that's why I can talk about this stuff, and it doesn't hurt me. I'm just like, it's so sad because I know, with a lot of the stuff with that part, it's like it's just so heartbreaking for the child. But to that extent, I do not know dealing with HIV. I cannot imagine like having somebody do that to me who has that. That's insane. It's just crazy. Anyways, let's get back to it.
that he raped this girl? She was so young, and on her 12th birthday. I mean, we cover these cases all the time. What are some of the ways this happens? I mean, what are some of the reasons you've heard predators justify this behavior?
Well, I
can't even
think some of
justify
them
it.
will say that they were themselves molested as a child, and they're acting out because they normalize this behavior. Obviously, the potential of a substance abuse problem weighs in on it, doesn't justify it, but it clouds the judgment and the control of one's actions. But I've always said, Jesse, and you know this, these guys fall into three different categories: the opportunist, a guy who's just addicted to this fantasy, and a stone cold predator. And this guy, in this case, in Oklahoma, fits into that category. He is a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'd be willing to go out on a ledge here and say that this isn't the first time he's assaulted a child.
100% no.
Especially inserting himself as a youth baseball coach. What impact does this?
And I'm gonna end it there. They're just talking. They're just talking about the whole case anyway. And I just wanted to get my mind back on it and look what happened. I thought they was going to say what he got, which I fast forwarded a little bit. They did not. They were just talking about the case. But they did say it while I'm thinking about it. I'm like, he got life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 or 30 years, whatever. Insane. I just can't believe I didn't think about that. The mom knew and did not report that. Like, I would already be afraid, unfortunately, to say this. I'm not even saying unfortunately. This is real, being real. This is legit being realistic, okay? I would be afraid to date somebody that's HIV positive. And because you just never know, okay? I know there are people who are born with it. There's people who contracted, not by, like, it's not their fault. They contracted it and they have to deal with it. They have medicine. But it's not easy I know it's not easy for them to, date people and find people who are okay with it. It is scary. But then you add that point, like you add that part to it, and then say you have a child, and you figure out this is happening. I'm just shocked she allowed, like she, I'm gonna say allowed, but she basically allowed that to continue if she knew. It's like you have these men come into these households and they try to act normal, knowing they're not. It's kind of like you have people who try to resist these predators, mind you. I'm just to my men, and we're gonna get to women in a second because oh my god, it happens. Let me tell y'all, it's like you have these predators coming to the household with children because that's what they like, and they work with kids, and you wouldn't know anything about this. Like I'm talking about you as the mom, the girlfriend, or whatever, and they just like they bond, they get a relationship with the child, let the child trust them, and then go in for the kill, and then years on you're touching this child. It's just disgusting. It's absolutely filthy. And these people, it's a lot of men like this. That's so sick. It's insane how sick it is. But let me tell you about the women too. And they work, they're teachers, they work with kids, they're like their friends, parents, and they're attacking little boys, and I don't know what that is. They're married, they have kids, and they're attacking children. You can't, and then they cry and they try to put an emotional part on it, and that's why they don't get much time. And I don't understand that. That's absolutely disgusting. This woman actually just got pregnant. I wasn't gonna talk about it because I don't. I was like, these cases, there's just so many of them. I was like, I don't know if I could talk about. It's just so many. Like it's happening, but I don't know if I might start talking about those. I talked about a couple, but I talked about a few. Actually, like probably like a handful of them, y'all, to be honest. There's just so many. I don't know why it's happening. These women are disgusting. They're just as disgusting as the men who do this. And I think we need to emphasize that these women are just as disgusting as the men who commit those crimes and rapes because they're raping little kids. I don't know why that's happening. I don't know if they and then they, you know what, some people say they're the women themselves say they're sad, and they just they don't know they didn't know what came over them. They look, and I'm actually looking at one right now, y'all. I'm reading the screen. It's a ex-social worker who raped teen client. Are you kidding me? There needs to be something. They definitely need to be held to the same standard as the men, because these are kids. I don't know why this is happening, but there's been a rise of it, and I don't like. This is disgusting. These are predators. These women are predators. That's why I be like, I know I talk a lot about women's safety, but a lot of these women are freaking sick, and I don't know. But yesterday I saw this woman raped a child, and she had his baby. I believe he was 12 or 13. She's going to jail. Like, she's going to jail. And then she tried to text him and say not to, like, tell him not to say anything because she'll get in trouble. So they try to manipulate these kids. And the reason why for some reason, it sticks with little kids, like the little boys, is because you have women. Women are more vulnerable. They're more emotional creatures. They can easily persuade a child, unfortunately. It's easy to talk to women. They see them as a mother figure. They groom them. That's what I'm looking for. After everything I was saying, they groom them. While on the other part, you have men who, a lot of women are afraid of certain men. They be afraid of their intentions. Mind you, you should when you're a kid. Don't talk to strangers. But you have the women, a random woman can go up to a kid and give him a piece of candy. He'll act so nice because it's like a mother figure. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. It's disgusting. And I don't know why that's happening, but that's why I don't talk about it on here. It's too much. Okay? And I did a post when I said every crime needs to be talked about, and it do. But those crimes, it's like, it's happening too much. And I don't know if I'm going to do if I should add it on here. If y'all want to, we can talk about it. And all I'm going to do is berate the hell out of the women. So it's like, if you want it, I'll do it to cover those, and we can really talk about it. Because these are cases. They're cases, and I might do one. You know what? I actually might do one. We'll see. But let me know in the comments if y'all want to talk about those cases of the female predators who were teachers and just random women attacking children. I don't know why that's a thing, and I don't know why they're not getting a hefty sentences. I don't care that they're women. I don't care that they're mothers. I don't care that they have kids to come back to. They didn't think about that. They're disgusting. Okay, that's all I see them as. Those women are disgusting who do that. But yeah, this man was insane. I can't believe he did that. He's a predator. Definitely look into the childhood, but at this point, he's just a disgusting human being. Life in prison is what he got. He attacked the girlfriend daughter. He had HIV and he raped her over 6 times, and the mom knew that he did this before, which is crazy. So now that I knew that, I would definitely believe she needs to go to jail or be fined or something. If my mom knew that that happened, that the dude had HIV and that happened, HIV is another level, okay? This child is just traumatized. She's been traumatized over here. Think about it. This could have been a case of the little girl, she's getting assaulted by this man who's HIV positive. I wonder if she even knew. Like, what if she didn't know and he's attacking her? What if she knew and the mom, like, she didn't know the mom knew? So she didn't want to break up their marriage. It's so much that goes into this. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this, I think I said it in the other video too. It's nasty to think of. But I don't know. We don't even know if he was wearing a condom or not, so if she caught it, but it's disgusting. So on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay safe, stay aware, stay alert. Guys, this is disgusting. Just be careful, okay? Take care of your kids. Talk to your kids. And be safe. Bye. I'll see you guys in the next video.